Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of the 2004 film The Incredibles. So we start off in kind of like a flashback, not really flashback, but we start off at a different point in time, and we have these interviews between these three superheroes: Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, and Frozone. So Mr. Incredible's, talk about how he'd just like, the world to not be saved, needs saving, which is just like, just don't save it. Like, we meet and are introduced to like dozens of superheroes in this movie. Granted, most of them are dead now, but like, you don't gotta be that guy. You choose to be. Like, people say that Harry Potter has a saving people thing. This guy's got a saving people thing. So he, basically, he says he'd like to, settle down, have a family. Meanwhile, Elastigirl says she can't really think about that, leaving that, start a family, leave it to the guys. I don't think so. Which is funny, because they're going to flip it. Mr. Incredible is going to want to go back to the glory days of saving people, and Elastigirl is going to, want to be settled. So we see Mr. Incredible save a cat from a tree, stop some robbers, and interact with this kid named Buddy, who's the leader of his fan club. And he's also pretty smart, creating his own gadgets to fly around and shit. Mr. Incredible sends him away, rightfully so, because he's a kid, and Mr. Incredible is going to be doing dangerous shit, and he is a liability. He is kind of a bit of a dick about it, but like also at the same time, he is in an active situation where there's bombs going on, because he ends up stopping another robber, saving a guy from committing suicide, and gets attacked by this dude, Bon Voyage, who is a French arsonist or whatever, terrorist. And again, yeah, I understand why he's kind of snippy with Buddy, because there's an active threat danger, and he can't, he doesn't need a liability like Buddy. So he just says, "Go home, buddy. I work alone," which is he's kind of a bit dickish, but also his thread is at its, end. He managed to save a train which blew up because Buddy kind of fucked up. And managed to make it to his wedding to Elastigirl. Which is funny as hell. Yeah, like, if this is what he's doing when he's supposed to be, preparing for his wedding, what does a normal day for Mr. Incredible look like? Unfortunately, shit hits the fan when the dude who was trying to commit suicide saved by Mr. Incredible sues him. I mean, I kind of get the point. I mean, dude, that's just like a piece of shit move, bro. Mr. Incredible saved him. He realized, hey, you know what? I don't want to die. But now I need that money. I mean, sure, the argument that he was injured and, once has debilitating pain, sure. But, like, also, if you're in so much pain, then just kill yourself. I mean, you were already trying to, so I mean... And he's also sued by the people who were on the train, which is like, superheroes do need to be held accountable, but, like, this one... I'm iffy on. There wasn't jack shit more in that situation with the train, that Incredible could have done. Like, he was trying to stop Buddy from flying away with the bomb. It's just like, shit happened, unfortunately, and people got hurt. So, we'll open the floodgates for everybody to get sued. And so they decided to send him underground, which is like, shockingly worked. Why did that work? These guys must have been like the superheroes from The Boys, but to like a nicer extreme. Like, they're only all in it for the publicity. Once the publicity is dried up, they're just like, man, that ain't worth it no more. But it can't be the case because, or else Syndrome wouldn't have been able to get all these superheroes and kill them all. So, like, you're telling me there hasn't... And also, Bob and Froze... Bob is Mr. Incredible, and Helen is... Elastigirl. You can't tell me that Bob and Frozone are the only two motherfuckers that were trying to, do some vigilante bullshit. We just ain't heard about it, I guess, because everybody's dead. Been dead a while. Enough for Laserbeam to decompose down to bones. So Bob is working at an insurance firm, which is, I guess, in his mind, he's trying to, help people the same best way, Insurance, gives them money when they're down on their luck, Unfortunately, he is introduced to the biggest supervillain of all time, corporate greed. And this particular insurance company wants all the loopholes, all the clauses or whatever, so they have to pay the least amount of money to their, clients or whatever. Meanwhile, Helen goes to pick up Dash at school, and he's in trouble because the teacher thinks he put thumbtacks on his chair, which he did. Dash has super speed, so yeah. And we get I don't know if it was in this before or something after, but the quote, "A coincidence? I think not." Honestly, that has got to be one of the quotable things, other than, "Honey, where's my super suit?" Or, "The greater good, I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you'll ever need," or something like that. I think those are the three most quotable things in this movie. Or also, when everybody's super, nobody will be super. So Dash is disappointed that he can't try out for sports. And it's a kind of an argument that Bob and Helen have. They have their own reasons. I'm kind of seeing both sides. Helen wants to stay under the radar, but Bob, Bob wants to kind of relive the glory days, and I guess he kind of does want to see Dash succeed, and it's also, maybe he's trying to vicariously live through Dash now. He says he could be great, and, he could be. Also, I'm kind of glad by the end of the movie they do reach a good middle ground for him. They allow him to participate in sports so he can do something he likes. He does like sports. It isn't just because he knew he knew he'd be good at them. It's because he wants to do it. So they allow him to do it. Just, dial it back a bit, buddy. So I'm glad they reached that conclusion by the end of the film. So they have arguments over dinner because Bob, he's going through his depression era, man. The corporate life has hit him like a truck. Also, though, why is he working in insurance? Is this like the government job that they said, yeah, most boring thing you can do, Bob? Insurance. Couldn't you become a firefighter? If he wants to scratch the itch of shaving people. If he wants to scratch the itch of saving people, just become a firefighter or something like that. He's got the strength. He can carry people out of burning buildings. He can carry all the heavy equipment and shit. He can, yeah. So and I mention this because he and Lucius, I think that's Frozone's name, get into, basically go, rescuing vigilantes. They rescue these people from a burning building and they get locked into a jewelry store. The police come, and honestly, they get the most scared shitless police officer ever, who's shaking his hands when Frozone, he has his hands up. Honestly, he had his hand open and he was reaching for water to take the sip, which yeah, Frozone definitely should have kept his hands up. But also, that cop should have not fired the damn gun. Like, he was actively trying to fire that gun. And I can't tell if it was before or after. Like, I think he was firing the gun before Frozone even hit him with the freeze blast. So they managed to escape, but they were being trailed by Mirage, who was working for Syndrome, aka who's Buddy, looking for Frozone, because Frozone's the next victim. But Mirage believes that Bob is the best answer. Bob ends up getting fired from work because he attacked his boss after his boss stopped him from saving a dude in the alley, which is like, yeah, Bob has a saving people thing. Also, that might be because he kind of has withdrawals. Like, I mean, that we don't know how. Actually, no. I don't know. I do think he has a severe saving people thing, though. But also, it's kind of like the line in Spider-Man Homecoming. If you have the power to do something and you don't do it, then bad things happen because of you or something like that. So, something to that line, you know, he's talking with, Spider-Man's talking with Tony Stark when he says it. When you have the power to do something and you don't, and bad things happen because of you, something like that. I guess it's kind of, you know, what Bob's going by. He has the power to do something and he's not doing it, so in his eyes, that thing happened because of him. Mirage gives him a job, you know, basically calls him. So he goes and suits up and ends up fighting a robot, manages to defeat it. And he proceeds to lie to his wife, Helen. You know, by saying he's going out for work trips or whatever. You know, he's moved up the ladder. When in actuality, he's training and shit and going on jobs for Mirage and Syndrome, I believe. So we get the ultimate training montage. Meanwhile, after a phone call from Mirage, which Helen hears, but she only hears the tail end, you know, where it kind of sounds like they're meeting up for a booty call. And Helen's, you know, worry and vulnerability, you know, she shows. Like, she thinks her marriage is kind of on the rocks, man. She thinks her husband, you know, the love of her life, is having an affair. She's not knowing what to do. She tracks to Edna Mode, who is the superhero suit designer. Bob went to get a new super suit and his old one repaired. And she says no capes because all these superheroes who had capes that she designed died in tragic ways, which, you know, has got a weigh on her. You know, she obviously probably, you know, blames herself even more than what Bob would do if, you know, he sees a crime, doesn't do anything, because she actively made the capes that killed them or contributed to their deaths. Honestly, has anyone ever... Then we see Helen, you know, get introduced to her and her children's suits. Has anyone, you know, put out the theory that Edna is a super, but her superhero power is just, you know, creating suits? Or something to do with, like, fabric, maybe? That sounds dumb as shit, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a fashion designer, and then there's Edna Mode. Like, if you'd have told me that she is a superhero with the superpowers of control of the cloth and suits, so she makes suits that best suit supers, I'd believe ya. She's just a bit too good at this shit. So, Helen suits up and goes to track Bob because Edna Mode is a shady bitch because she'd put a tracker in Bob's suit, which is like, okay. You couldn't have told Bob that? Whatever. The kid stole away. Also, I didn't mention it. Violet's powers include turning invisible and force fields. While they're on the way to the island in the jet, a missile has come and Helen tries to get Violet to, you know, protect the plane, but she just can't bring herself to do it. So they free fall, and Elastigirl turns herself into a parachute to save the kids, while turning herself into a boat, and Dash uses his legs as a propeller. I love that, Dash basically kind of clutched up with this. They'd have got there probably, just not as fast without Dash. And I do love that when she was talking to the kids, she didn't sugarcoat them. She said, these guys, they're not going to show restraint because you're kids. They're going to kill you. And she kind of didn't really sugarcoat it with Violet either. Yeah, you fucked up, but that was more me than anything. I shouldn't have put that responsibility on you so soon, knowing you know. She admitted to Violet that she kind of fucked up, but it was accepting it as her mistake. Mr. Incredible gets I forgot to mention, Mr. Incredible gets captured, attacked by a second droid, and he's managed to escape being killed by using the bones of Gazer Beam, and then he hacks the system, finds out about Kronos, and, finds out all his friends have been murdered. And that they luckily don't know where Elastigirl is, his wife, but they know where Lucius is. I find it funny as hell that they didn't realize that Elastigirl was Bob's wife. Were they just not going to his house? I don't know. So he gets captured, then Helen helps him escape after getting, kind of trapped. Meanwhile, the kids run off from a rocket which is carrying a droid, which lands in some city. I was about to say New York, because honestly, I don't know if it says New York, but way super movies are, it's probably New York. So I love I love Mr. Incredible's line of, you killed all these superheroes just so you could be a fake one. Because that's Syndrome's whole plan. He's going to fake, being a hero and stop his own creation. You created all these cool inventions, my guy, and you couldn't just fucking be a superhero? What? And the narcissism, most of it's because he got rejected by his hero. What? All these people died because you were insecure and shit? So, Violet and Dash kind of escape from the guards, all these soldiers or whatever. Dash definitely gets a body count at 10, even if most of them are kind of indirectly. But they're captured, and right as this dude's about to fire, Violet jumps in front of him to take the bullets, creating a powerful force field, bubble, which stops the bullets. But side note, she admits that she doesn't know what she's doing, meaning she was going to sacrifice for herself or her brother, which I did not really realize this until I watched the movie. I just never clocked it before. Like, she admits to Dash that she doesn't know what she's doing, which means she was going to take the bullets, face value. So they escape and meet up with Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible, who also escaped. Unfortunately, they're recaptured by Syndrome and locked up again. Mr. Incredible, has his come to Jesus, moment where he admits he wasn't the greatest dad and shit. Meanwhile, Violet escapes because for some reason she wasn't locked up that well, or is it her powers? I don't know. So she escapes and frees them all, and they all make their way to the battle with the droid with the help of Mirage, because she kind of saw the light. It kind of started when she realized there were kids on the plane, and then when she realized that Syndrome was planning to leave her to die, because Mr. Incredible, after, thinking his kids and wife is dead, he attempts to attack Syndrome, but Mirage pushes him out and gets caught in the crossfire and is strangled. And she did not appreciate, Syndrome trying to play it off like he was calling Mr. Incredible's bluff. So they get there, and Frozone eventually teams up with the four Incredibles, and they manage to finally defeat the Omnidroid, which did go rogue because it's a robot. Of course it does. Meanwhile, they have a third child, Jack. He's been in the care of Kari, who proceeded to leave frantic voicemails about how weird as shit Jack is. And then the last one is her calm again, thanking Mr. Incredible for sending the replacement babysitter. So they proceed to go there, and it's Syndrome, and he's got Jack. He escapes with Jack, but Jack's powers have activated, and he proceeds to turn into Fireball Jack, Stone Jack, Metal Jack, and then a Goblin Jack, which makes Syndrome drop him. Elastigirl catches him, after being thrown by Bob like a fucking paper plane. Bob then throws a car at the jet, which explodes and causes the engines to suck Syndrome in his cape in, killing him. Ends with Jack, Dash, placing second in a race, which also, he could have won it. They could have let him win. I hope they do actually let him win and just, don't constantly say, all right, you have to be second best. I feel like they could let him win, even if it's just like, yeah. I wonder if that's what they're planning to do, like, all right, you can't be the best just now. You'll be the best later. Violet has her confidence. We saw her basically gain her confidence while she was running from the guards, basically. And she's got her hair back. And she gets to go on a date with her crush. The movie ends with them gearing up to fight this dude named the Underminer. I don't know if he's human. He kind of looks just like a straight mole. Is that, that's something. Also, Rick Dicker, I believe his name is, who is basically the liaison for the government in between these particular supers, our supers, basically says that they don't know if the government, the supers will be able to come out of hiding, which is just like, and they're gonna leave it to the politicians, and I'm just like, this doesn't really prove anything that they should. I don't know. I guess they are going to be allowed to come out because they probably realize that it's been 15 years of blowback, so now they can start anew with more publicity, government sanction them when they send them out to help, say the government, and the government gets to say, here's the superheroes, they're with the government, they're here to help. The most scary words ever. We're with the government, and we're here to help. Overall, I loved the dynamics and the relationships, Helen and Bob, Helen with Dash and Violet. My favorite, I also love that after they're reunited, Helen is still on the high of thinking Bob is cheating, and he's like, you're just trying to pick a fight, but I'm just happy you're alive. I can't think of anything that makes me want to degrade this, or down this movie. I really enjoyed this, and I think this might actually be my most favorite Pixar movie, The Incredibles. Like, I'm trying to think of something in this movie that would make me give it less than a 10, because I want to give this a 10, and I think I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I can't think of anything that makes me want to downgrade it to a 9 or 8, and even if there is, it's just like my own personal enjoyment brings it up to a 10. anyways, there's nothing in this movie that would bring it down. This movie is a solid 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next video.